within 5 months, I had no money left. I kept seeing my account go lower and lower and lower, and I kept thinking it was going to bounce back, and it never did. And so I look up one day, about 5 months in, I sold everything that I owned. I had to start borrowing quarters from my kids' piggy bank just to feed our family.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you. And no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil. Today, I'm joined by someone I'm looking forward to chatting with, Quentin West, who is a leading expert in the short-term rental industry and founder of Shortcut to Superhost. So excited to have you on the show today, Quentin.
Thanks a lot, Michelle. I'm happy to be here.
Of course, I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you're helping people scale their short-term rental businesses. So let's dive in.
Let's do it.
First off, for those who are not familiar with you and your world, can you share what your main focus is?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO and founder of Shortcut to Superhost, and we specialize in helping short-term rental operators start, optimize, or scale their portfolio. So whether you're just getting started, you want to get your first Airbnb or short-term rental, or you have a 200 plus unit portfolio or anything in between, you are our ideal client.
Awesome. And is this outside, or inside all of the US?
That's all over the world. So we've operated in over 15 countries to date, over 2,500 units that we've personally optimized and helped increase income on, build out systems and portfolios, and help people get started.
Awesome. How did you get started with this? How did you develop these skills and get to this place?
Yeah, I would say by failing a lot. The reason why we're doing this today is because at one point, not understanding optimization almost took me to bankruptcy. So I started my business in 2019 by accident. I got into real estate sales as an agent, and I didn't make any money the first 3 months. So I got hit with a foreclosure notice, and I put my house on Airbnb just to try to pay some bills. So I moved back in with mom and dad, put it up for rent, and was planning on moving back in a few months when things stabilized. But I made about $1,000 in profit the first month, about $1,500 the second month. And by the third month, it was pretty evident that this was going to be a big opportunity. So I learned about Airbnb Arbitrage, where you rent a property and sublease it on Airbnb. And after your rent, your utilities, and everything else, you take home whatever's left over. And when I learned about that, I went straight to Zillow. I started calling landlords. I, put that first unit on a credit card, and it started making money right away. First month, about $1,200 in profit after all expenses. And I grew that, really quick. I used credit stacking to get 0% interest business credit. And over about 2.5 years, I built that portfolio to 47 units in 3 states.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Making about 130 to 150,000 a month. Within a 5-month period of making a big investment, everything kind of fell apart. I grew too fast. I didn't look at any of the data. I had no idea how profitable I was. I had revenue leaking through every crack you could think of. And within 5 months, I had no money left. I kept seeing my account go lower and lower and lower, and I kept thinking it was going to bounce back, and it never did. And so I look up one day about 5 months in, I sold everything that I owned. I had to start borrowing quarters from my kids' piggy bank just to feed our family. And I've got this huge liability now, $75,000 a month in rent, tons of utility costs, cleaning costs, and over 100 creditors a day calling me. And so that's where this business kind of spurred from, through my process of fixing my own mistakes, hiring mentors with money I didn't have to fix problems that I should have planned for. And then after coming out of that, fast forward a year and a half, 2 years later, people were surprised to see me out at all. The people that actually knew what was going on. And so they started asking me questions because they saw that I was hardly working then. Before I was working 24/7. I was always working, flying back and forth from multiple states, managing tons of teams, launching properties myself, building all the furniture. It was a nightmare. And so I started getting a lot of attention. People wanted help. I coached probably 20 people for free before I ever charged anyone because I frankly just liked doing it. And then I started feeling taken advantage of. People weren't showing up for meetings. And I was, I had one experience where, I drove pretty significant ways for free to meet the guy, and he just kind of ghosted me. And I was like, that's it. I'm not gonna coach anymore. And then someone offered to pay me hourly to coach them virtually on Zoom. I was like, this could be something. Like, I haven't gotten paid for this yet. And then after that first client, I started charging everyone else that asked. I realized it was worth a lot of money. People were seeing some great success. They were going out and hitting $10,000 months within 6 months. And the business slowly grew. We went from 80,000 in the first half year to over $1 million the second year, and we're continuing to grow from there. And at this point, we've worked with a little over 1,200 clients in 15 countries worldwide. It's been a lot of fun.
Wow, that's incredible that you were able to almost build twice your business.
Yeah, literally. Build it, destroy it, and then build it again.
So, what were the main takeaways from the first time where things kind of went south to rebuilding the second time that were able to bring you success this round?
Definitely that income, like gross income, is vanity. Net profit is where you get your sanity from. That is where you get your sanity from. I don't remember exactly how that saying goes, but it's so true. You got to know your bottom line. Like, what units are profitable? Does it make sense to renew this lease? Like, after I went back and started fixing my business, I realized I was so busy that I didn't even stop to think before I renewed leases whether they were profitable or not. I had multiple leases I had just renewed for a second year, and I was negative the first year. I didn't make any profit. And I was so busy just working that I didn't realize that. And so there were so many cases like that where I just grew for growth's sake, not for actual profit, because I wanted big business. I wanted to hit, multiple seven figures, get to 10 mil a year as fast as I could. And, didn't really care about all the small details that are actually what help a business grow to that point.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how did Shortcut to Superhost get built from all of this?
Yeah, so when people started asking me to coach them for free, or to coach them, I never thought I would be traveling the world speaking on stages. Like, I went to Dubai this year, Ohio. I'm going to Vegas again next week. I never really saw myself doing that until we started seeing such great results, and I realized the impact that I could have by sharing everything I learned. And then that's really when it became a big goal of mine to grow that side of the business. I've really enjoyed it, as much or more than, actually building a real estate portfolio, because we saved countless properties from foreclosure at this point. Typically, like, our ideal client typically is not out there thriving currently. They're in a bad situation where they've made some bad decisions like I did. They invested in some properties they probably shouldn't have. They didn't run their numbers firsthand. They just thought because it looked like a good area, it would make sense. And so they come to us, and, I get to use the creative side of my brain that runs through 1,000 different ideas every day, and help other people get out of the holes they've dug for themselves. So when I realized that, the impact we can make, that's when it became very apparent that that was the next step to take.
Absolutely. Can you share some examples of these creative ways that you support people to, yeah, change their circumstances?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So we've done a lot of different things. One that pops up right on top of my head was just the way that we market properties. Um, if you have just a standard single family home, it's going to be difficult to get too creative. Obviously, we can take different photos, we can design the property, different ways. But the one that comes top of mind is a lady that had like a nature retreat, and it just wasn't really represented well online. Very basic images, looked like your average Airbnb. And so she had a very difficult time even competing at an average level. And so, we came in and it kind of acted as a consultant for the design of her property, how it should look online, building out her brand, and her image for that property, identifying what her ultimate dream was for it and her vision, and putting that on a website that transferred over that vision. Because when people see a property, most people don't have a ton of imagination. If it doesn't stand out to them right away, they're not going to pay you their money, especially a premium rate like a property like that should demand. And so after helping her get all of that set up and properly marketed, we took her from making about $3,000 a month to 15, 20,000 a month. A huge improvement in revenue just because of the way it was marketed. The property was always great. She always had, pretty good images and structure for the retreat itself. It just wasn't shown to the right people in the right way.
Yeah, makes sense. Marketing is everything, and sometimes that's not everyone's strength.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
What are you most focused on right now when it comes to solving or scaling the next thing in your business?
Yeah, I would say building out a large co-hosting company. We've kind of dropped the whole arbitrage strategy because we realized it has too many limitations. At one point I was spending 75 to 80,000 a month in rent for our portfolio. And that comes with a lot of stress.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Not only do you have to worry about the owner not renewing the lease or increasing your rent or even taking over and becoming a competitor of yours, um, but you don't get any of the upside of actual ownership. So you're investing all of this money with no tax benefits, and a lot of stress. So what we decided to start doing this year, and at first we were doing it at a high level for clients, is get into the co-hosting space. So with co-hosting, the major difference between property management is typically you're not managing cleaning and maintenance. You're managing pricing, guest communications, and marketing. All things that we're really strong at already from the work that we've been doing on other host properties. Um, and so we had a lot of lead flow from clients that, maybe they didn't want to coach. They just wanted someone to do it for them. So we started placing co-hosting properties with other hosts that we trained or vetted. And that went really well. We placed about 150 units in 90 days, but we realized there's a bigger opportunity in just taking those for ourselves. We built this big machine where we could close, some weeks we closed 30 properties. If those bring in $500 a month, that adds up really quick. And so now our most immediate goal is to scale past 1,000 units for co-hosting. And at that point, we'll stop and take a breather, determine if we want to just sell the property and exit or if we want to keep building. But I think that is one of our biggest opportunities now. And then on the side, in the meantime, we are taking our cash and looking towards purchasing hotels. I think ultimately buying real estate is a big long-term opportunity for anyone. But I'm a big believer that you need the cash flow first. So, if you're listening to this podcast, look at your cash flow, because if you don't have the cash flow to buy at a high rate, it's going to take you a decade to build a big portfolio. And so I'm a big believer again, until you hit 20 to 50,000 a month in cash flow that you can just dump into buying real estate, or you learn creative financing at a really high level, it's going to be really hard and slow to buy.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some exciting goals that you're working on. And yeah, great advice.
Thanks.
Are you working with investors in your coaching program, or it's just like Airbnb hosts? Like, who are your kind of ideal mentees?
Yeah, ideal mentees are typically um, current or new host. So it could be an investor, someone that wants to get started in short-term rentals. Um, and we're also working with investors on outside deals that we're doing, like our, looking for hotels. We're taking on limited partners for anyone that, has capital that wants to put into a deal like that and, have a piece of equity and cash flow. Um, but yeah, I would say primarily existing hosts, or people that want to get started.
Awesome. And what would you say are some of the main keys that have made the biggest difference in you being able to scale at such a rapid rate?
People, having the right people. Um, at the end of the day, I'm just a one guy. I can only do so much. I could be the best performer in the world, but a team is going to outperform me any day of the week. And so our company didn't really start getting to high levels until I found people I could depend on, that cared about the success of the business as much as me.
Yeah, absolutely. The right team can definitely take you far.
Yep.
What are some of the ways that you scope out what good properties are? Is there a certain criteria or checklist that you kind of mentally go through as you look at new properties?
Yeah, so for a purchase property, if we're gonna buy something, um, at this point, it's gotta be something unique. I think there's, a lot of, I don't wanna say saturation, but there's a lot of competition, for average level properties. So anything typically under 750,000 or less, there's just a much lower barrier to entry to get into those types of properties. And so you're going to have a ton of competition. And especially if you buy an apartment, a lot of times it's just a race to get to the bottom, who can have the cheapest price. And so for buying anything, I think it's important to look at, $1 million plus properties having a 15 to 20,000 or higher design budget so that you can create an experience more than anything. Um, and so, first off, if you don't have a budget like that, probably not the greatest idea to buy. Again, co-hosting is probably the best opportunity right now. And then when you do buy or set up a property in general, we use the golden triangle method. What that is we look for a place that is 30 minutes away from three different major hotspots. So those could be like major attractions like a national park, an amusement park, major airport, something that has tons of traffic year round. Um, and we found that by looking for places inside that triangle, there's never a shortage of travelers. You've got people traveling back and forth or coming to stay to visit any of those areas. Um, and it's not as seasonal as a beach market or middle of the mountains or something like that. um yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out, connect, learn more, stay updated with everything that you're doing, where is the best place for people to connect with you?
Yeah, so if you follow me on Instagram at Q Deals Homes, or you can text Superhost to 26786 and get access to our free course.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I appreciate your time and your perspective. Thank you for being here.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Of course. And for the listeners tuning in, if you got value, make sure you've subscribed. We've got more conversations with operators like Quentin who are building real businesses. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.